Okay. I've got this. Let me see if I can tilt it a little bit. See what we're doing a little better. All right, got the wheelbarrow. I got a bag of concrete in it already. The hose sitting on the other side of it. And I got a bucket of water right down here in front of it. We'll mix up some concrete. And then I got to pack out a tire wall right there a little better. Got some spots where I've got those sandstone rock river in there, and I've got to get the concrete. Let me show you. There, and here, and in here, and several other places. I got to pack out that tire wall. So let's get started. Using a 60-pound bag of Quikrete. If I get it too wet, I've got a bag of masonry, mason mix to thicken it with. 1 second. All right, I'm back. And yeah, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And let's make some concrete. Bucket of water, pour some water on the concrete. Maybe a little too much. Now, I was taught to mix concrete with a hole with the hose here. Start at one side and pull it all the other. Back, you switch and pull it to the other side. Put some gloves on, I don't mind getting ruined. I hate to mates of both of these got ruined, so got one blue and one orange. This is just to protect my hands while I'm grabbing handfuls of concrete and throwing it at the wall. Haven't done much with working on this Earthship garage as far as videos go lately. So just getting back at it. I mean, I've been working on it all along. I just haven't been filming videos about it because I was getting good positive reviews and comments and stuff like that on all the videos with the animals and stuff. I was getting pretty negative comments when it came to the Earthship. So maybe I shouldn't have let that deter me. I should have just kept making the videos. But anyways, doing a live stream today. It is a little bit runny. It's not going to ball up good like that. So I'm going to add a little bit of mortar mix. So this concrete's not structural or anything, this is filling up the voids in the tires. Goal is to get it all the way up into the void in the bring this closer. Let's see what I'm doing a little better. I think I got more light that can turn on too. I don't know how that light helps or not. But yeah, that's a bit closer, a little better, I think. Alright, so some spots are still a little runny on this, but there we go. The goal is to just fill up that void and make it stick. And that one as well. Good. better. Let's do it that way. Missed on that. All right, let me translate that. Let's see where I'm working at. Here. I almost used the whole bag. 4 or 5 more handfuls of concrete is all we can get. The reason for throwing it is the force of throwing the handful of concrete in there actually forces it into all the little voids. Through that one, then I pushed on it and I actually knocked more out of there than I actually pushed it. I'm going to leave that. I have to dry here before I put more in that void. Let's see. Of course, most of that fell out. Basically the last handful. All right. Just gonna have to cure for a little bit, a couple hours anyways, and then I'll do another one more batch in a couple hours. After that has a chance to set up and hold its shape. So we've got one more bag of concrete to do, and then we'll be able to, anyways, after that next bag of concrete, then I'm going to actually frame a wooden wall in front of this. I just needed to get some of those voids filled up, because as I built the tire wall, I layered about 4 to 6 layers of cardboard inside the tires, and that compressed down as I compacted the tires. And you can see a lot of what holds these tire walls together is the fact that, well, here's a good example. It bulges down and it bulges up. Of course, this has the concrete on it. You see this one's bulging up, that one's sitting on it, bulging down. And so they're interlocking together. It doesn't just do that on the front here, it also does it on the back. And I started with my biggest row of tires on the bottom. The bottom row is all 285 tires that are, I don't know, 3 foot or so in diameter. They're not all the same diameter, but they're all the same width. And then the next row up is 275s, and then I had 3 rows of 265 tires before I went down to 245s. So then there's 3 rows of 245s, and then a row of 235s on the top. So 9 rows of tires, I think. 1 285, 1 275, then 3 of them 265, 3 of them 245, and then 1 row of 235s for the top row. And then in those 9 rows, we got to 8 feet tall in 9 rows of tires. And then above the 8-foot point, which I don't know how well you can see it. Take these gloves off. So above the 8-foot point, we have that bond beam that you can see there. This wall was a little bit weird because I made the mistake of starting the wall too far back, and I didn't give it enough room to slope. So as it sloped up, it did not line up with my center block wall up there. That is the other half. So you got the center block wall up there, and that's the other half of the building is made out of center blocks. This half is tires, but the wall didn't line up. And so I actually had the bond beam for this tire wall sits out over the face of the tires for the top 3 rows. And then it actually tees and goes back over the top of the tire. So it's over the top of the tires plenty enough. It's just the front of it is over the face of those tires. Obviously, I've got pretty big buttresses here on both ends, and that bond beam goes right up on top of the buttress at that end, up on top of the buttress at that end, and the top of these buttresses is the same height as the top of the tire wall. So that tire wall is right there at the 8-foot point, and that bond beam sits right on top of the buttress, which actually this buttress goes back all the way to the tire wall. Here, you can kind of see a better view of it right here. Oh, that breeze feels nice. Got my cooling tube right here. There's a breeze coming in. It feels really nice. But yeah, right up here, we've got the buttress, and then this tire wall, the bond beam on top of the tire wall, and then over here on the north wall, I didn't have to have it come out over the face of the tires. So the bond beam just sits over directly on top of the tires, and then the post for the roof is on top of that. And yeah, and where I'm standing right now is actually going to be a storm shelter. I still have a bit more work to do in here. I got to put a ceiling on this storm shelter and make it strong enough to pour 5 inches of concrete on top of it. I'm going to do a concrete slab on top of this. That second piece of OSB there is screwed on from the outside, and so I'll be able to remove it when I do the pour the concrete, and I can back a concrete truck right up to there, stick the boom through there, and pour this, the lid on this by hand and pour it up there, one or the other. But yeah, buttresses on both, everywhere I had a block wall and a tire wall meet, I poured a buttress, and those buttresses are a minimum of a foot thick. You can see it's about 1 foot wide this way, and then it goes back into the tire wall. So that's really supports the tire wall, braces it up, plus supports the bond beam above it on both sides there. And then that one is a little bit different shape of a buttress because the tire wall wasn't coming out perpendicular to it, it was coming out parallel to the block wall. So, and then on the opposite side of that block wall there's a buttress also. It's about a 18-inch square, whatever. But yeah, a little bit of the pack out done on this tire wall. I want to get this section at least packed out to where all the cardboard and the tires above it is covered. And then beyond that, I'm going to just frame up a wooden wall and drywall it, put some receptacles in it. I'm not going to plaster and whatever here because my plan is, let me put this back over here so I'm not carrying it around. All right. So the plan, tip that back a little bit. So you can see where the line is, where the forms kind of, this was where I had the form of the bond beam sitting in, so it's that on this one up. But the plan is to build a wooden wall that goes from the floor at the front of the tires straight up vertically, which is going to stick out about 10 inches from the my light battery's going dead, my lights is flashing. Anyways, it's going to stick out up here 10 to 12 inches, and then I'm going to do a little shelf up here, a knick-knack shelf. I will anchor it to the floor, anchor it to the buttresses of both ends, and a couple of spots along here. I'm not going to drill a lot into this bond beam, but I'm going to do like 2 spots or 3 spots along here. I'm going to anchor it into that bond beam. Plywood on top of the shelf, drywall down the side, several receptacles throughout the length of this wall, probably 4 of them. Yeah, and that'll be that for that. This is the west wall, and there's no cooling tube through the west wall. The cooling tube only goes through the north wall, and I only put 1 cooling tube in. Yeah, that's. Yeah, there goes that battery dying again, so light's flashing. Yeah, you can see I got a little bit of the pack out done on those, and that's where I'm at for now. My next step is going to be, well, I actually got to wait about 2 hours for this to cure, and then mix up 1 more bag of concrete and do a little bit more pack out. There's some of these that are still wet. I need to get a little bit more in there to get that drywall covered in a couple more spots. I gotta put more concrete in, or not drywall, sorry, to get cardboard that's inside the tires covered up. Once I get that part of it done, then I'll be fine to build the wooden wall in front of it. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I will do another one later today as I want to mix up the next batch of concrete and then start building on the other. So, call it.